chapters 1 through 10 of the book of Genesis from the Basic Bible, Old Testament. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Mark Penfold. Chapter 1. At the first, God made the heaven and the earth. And the earth was waste and without form, and it was dark on the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was moving on the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And God, looking on the light, saw that it was good. And God made a division between the light and the dark, naming the light day, and the dark night. And there was evening, and there was morning, the first day. And God said, "Let there be a solid arch stretching over the waters, parting the waters from the waters." And God made the arch for a division between the waters which were under the arch and those which were over it. And it was so. And God gave the arch the name of Heaven. And there was evening, and there was morning, the second day. And God said, "Let the waters under the heaven come together in one place, and let the dry land be seen." And it was so. And God gave the dry land the name of earth, and the waters together in their place were named seas. And God saw that it was good. And God said, "Let grass come up on the earth, and plants producing seed, and fruit trees giving fruit in which is their seed, after their sort." And it was so. And grass came up on the earth, and every plant producing seed of its sort, and every tree producing fruit, in which is its seed, of its sort. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the third day. And God said, "Let there be lights in the arch of heaven for a division between the day and the night, and let them be for signs, and for marking the changes of the year, and for days, and for years. And let them be for lights in the arch of heaven to give light on the earth." And it was so. And God made the two great lights, the greater light to be the ruler of the day, and the smaller light to be the ruler of the night. And he made the stars. And God put them in the arch of heaven to give light on the earth, to have rule over the day and the night, and for a division between the light and the dark. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the fourth day. And God said, "Let the waters be full of living things, and let birds be in flight over the earth under the arch of heaven." And God made great sea beasts, and every sort of living and moving thing with which the waters were full, and every sort of winged bird. And God saw that it was good. And God gave them his blessing, saying, "Be fertile, and have increase, making all the waters of the seas full, and let the birds be increased in the earth." And there was evening, and there was morning, the fifth day. And God said, "Let the earth give birth to all sorts of living things, cattle, and all things moving on the earth, and beasts of the earth after their sort." And it was so. And God made the beast of the earth after its sort, and the cattle after their sort, and everything moving on the face of the earth after its sort. And God saw that it was good. And God said, "Let us make man in our image, like us, and let him have rule over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every living thing which goes flat on the earth." And God made man in his image. In the image of God he made him. Male and female he made them. And God gave them his blessing, and said to them, "Be fertile and have increase, and make the earth full, and be masters of it. Be rulers over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the air, and over every living thing moving on the earth." And God said, "See, I have given you every plant producing seed on the face of all the earth, and every tree which has fruit producing seed. They will be for your food. And to every beast of the earth, and to every bird of the air, and every living thing moving on the face of the earth, I have given every green plant for food. And it was so. And God saw everything which he had made, and it was very good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the 6th day. Chapter 2. And the heaven and the earth and all things in them were complete. And on the 7th day God came to the end of all his work. And on the 7th day he took his rest from all the work which he had done. And God gave his blessing to the 7th day, and made it holy, because on that day he took his rest from all the work which he had made and done. These are the generations of the heaven and the earth when they were made. In the day when the Lord God made earth and heaven, there were no plants of the field on the earth, and no grass had come up, for the Lord God had not sent rain on the earth, and there was no man to do work on the land. But a mist went up from the earth, watering all the face of the land. And the Lord God made man from the dust of the earth, breathing into him the breath of life, and man became a living soul. And the Lord God made a garden in the east, in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had made. And out of the earth the Lord made every tree to come, delighting the eye, and good for food. And in the middle of the garden the tree of life, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And a river went out of Eden, giving water to the garden, and from there it was parted, and became 4 streams. The name of the first is Pishon, which goes round about all the land of Havilah, where there is gold. And the gold of that land is good. There is bdellium and the onyx stone. And the name of the second river is Gihon. This river goes round all the land of Cush. And the name of the third river is Tigris, which goes to the east of Assyria. And the fourth river is Euphrates. And the Lord God took the man, and put him in the garden of Eden to do work in it, and take care of it. And the Lord God gave the man orders, saying, You may freely take of the fruit of every tree of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you may not take, for on the day when you take of it, death will certainly come to you. And the Lord God said, It is not good for the man to be by himself. I will make one like himself as a help to him. And from the earth the Lord God made every beast of the field and every bird of the air, and took them to the man to see what names he would give them. And whatever name he gave to any living thing, that was its name. And the man gave names to all cattle, and to the birds of the air, and to every beast of the field. But Adam had no one like himself as a help. And the Lord God sent a deep sleep on the man, and took one of the bones from his side while he was sleeping, joining up the flesh again in its place. And the bone which the Lord God had taken from the man, he made into a woman, and took her to the man. And the man said, This is now bone of my bone, and flesh of my flesh. Let her name be Woman, because she was taken out of man. For this cause will a man go away from his father and his mother, and be joined to his wife, and they will be one flesh. And the man and his wife were without clothing, and they had no sense of shame. Chapter 3. Now the snake was wiser than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made. And he said to the woman, Has God truly said that you may not take of the fruit of any tree in the garden? And the woman said, We may take of the fruit of the trees in the garden, but of the fruit of the tree in the middle of the garden, God has said, If you take of it, or put your hands on it, death will come to you. And the snake said, Death will not certainly come to you. For God sees that on the day when you take of its fruit, your eyes will be open, and you will be as gods, having knowledge of good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and a delight to the eyes, and to be desired to make one wise, she took of its fruit and gave it to her husband. And their eyes were open, and they were conscious that they had no clothing, and they made themselves coats of leaves stitched together. And there came to them the sound of the Lord God walking in the garden in the evening wind. And the man and his wife went to a secret place among the trees of the garden, away from the eyes of the Lord God. And the voice of the Lord God came to the man, saying, Where are you? And he said, Hearing your voice in the garden, I was full of fear, because I was without clothing, and I kept myself from your eyes. And he said, Who gave you the knowledge that you were without clothing? Have you taken of the fruit of the tree which I said you were not to take? And the man said, The woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me the fruit of the tree, and I took it. And the Lord God said to the woman, What have you done? And the woman said, I was tricked by the deceit of the snake, and I took it. And the Lord God said to the snake, Because you have done this, you are cursed more than all cattle and every beast of the field. You will go flat on the earth, and dust will be your food all the days of your life. And there will be war between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. By him will your head be crushed, and by you his foot will be wounded. To the woman he said, Great will be your pain in childbirth. In sorrow will your children come to birth. Still your desire will be for your husband, but he will be your master. And to Adam he said, Because you gave ear to the voice of your wife, and took of the fruit of the tree which I said you were not to take, the earth is cursed on your account. In pain you will get your food from it all your life. Thorns and waste plants will come up, and the plants of the field will be your food. With the hard work of your hands you will get your bread, till you go back to the earth from which you were taken. For dust you are, and to the dust you will go back. And the man gave his wife the name of Eve, because she was the mother of all who have life. And the Lord God made for Adam and for his wife coats of skin for their clothing. And the Lord God said, Now the man has become like one of us, having knowledge of good and evil. And now if he puts out his hand and takes of the fruit of the tree of life, he will go on living forever. So the Lord God sent him out of the Garden of Eden to be a worker on the earth from which he was taken. So he sent the man out, and at the east of the Garden of Eden he put winged ones and a flaming sword, turning every way to keep the way to the tree of life. Chapter 4. And the man had connection with Eve his wife, and she became with child, and gave birth to Cain, and said, I have got a man from the Lord. Then again she became with child, and gave birth to Abel his brother. And Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a farmer. And after a time Cain gave to the Lord an offering of the fruits of the earth, and Abel gave an offering of the young lambs of his flock, and of their fat. And the Lord was pleased with Abel's offering, but in Cain and his offering he had no pleasure. And Cain was angry, and his face became sad. And the Lord said to Cain, Why are you angry, and why is your face sad? If you do well, will you not have honor? And if you do wrong, sin is waiting at the door, desiring to have you, but do not let it be your master. And Cain said to his brother, Let us go into the field. And when they were in the field, Cain made an attack on his brother Abel, and put him to death. And the Lord said to Cain, Where is your brother Abel? And he said, I have no idea. Am I my brother's keeper? And he said, What have you done? The voice of your brother's blood is crying to me from the earth. And now you are cursed from the earth, whose mouth is open to take your brother's blood from your hand. No longer will the earth give you her fruit as the reward of your work. You will be a wanderer in flight over the earth." And Cain said, "My punishment is greater than my strength. You have sent me out this day from the face of the earth and from before your face. I will be a wanderer in flight over the earth, and whoever sees me will put me to death." And the Lord said, "Truly, if Cain is put to death, 7 lives will be taken for his." And the Lord put a mark on Cain, so that no one might put him to death. And Cain went away from before the face of the Lord, and made his living place in the land of Nod, on the east of Eden. And Cain had connection with his wife, and she became with child, and gave birth to Enoch. And he made a town, and gave the town the name of Enoch, after his son. And Enoch had a son, Irad. And Irad became the father of Mehujael. And Mehujael became the father of Methushael. And Methushael became the father of Lamech. And Lamech had 2 wives. The name of the one was Adah, and the name of the other Zillah. And Adah gave birth to Jabal. He was the father of such as are living in tents and keep cattle. And his brother's name was Jubal. He was the father of all players on instruments of music. And Zillah gave birth to Tubal-Cain, who was the father of every maker of cutting instruments of brass and iron. And the sister of Tubal-Cain was Naamah. And Lamech said to his wives, "Adah and Zillah, give ear to my voice. You wives of Lamech, give attention to my words. For I would put a man to death for a wound, and a young man for a blow. If 7 lives are to be taken as punishment for Cain's death, 77 will be taken for Lamech's." And Adam had connection with his wife again, and she gave birth to a son, to whom she gave the name of Seth. For she said, "God has given me another seed in place of Abel, whom Cain put to death." And Seth had a son, and he gave him the name of Enosh. At this time men first made use of the name of the Lord in worship. Chapter 5. This is the book of the generations of Adam. In the day when God made man, he made him in the image of God. Male and female he made them, naming them man, and giving them his blessing on the day when they were made. Adam had been living for 130 years when he had a son like himself, after his image, and gave him the name of Seth. And after the birth of Seth, Adam went on living for 800 years, and had sons and daughters. And all the years of Adam's life were 930, and he came to his end. And Seth was 105 years old when he became the father of Enosh. And he went on living after the birth of Enosh for 807 years, and had sons and daughters. And all the years of Seth's life were 912, and he came to his end. And Enosh was 90 years old when he became the father of Kenan. And after the birth of Kenan, Enosh went on living for 815 years, and had sons and daughters. And all the years of Enosh were 905, and he came to his end. And Kenan was 70 years old when he became the father of Mahalalel. And after the birth of Mahalalel, Kenan went on living for 840 years, and had sons and daughters. And all the years of Kenan's life were 910, and he came to his end. And Mahalalel was 65 years old when he became the father of Jared. And after the birth of Jared, Mahalalel went on living for 830 years, and had sons and daughters. And all the years of Mahalalel's life were 895, and he came to his end. And Jared was 162 years old when he became the father of Enoch. And Jared went on living after the birth of Enoch for 800 years, and had sons and daughters. And all the years of Jared's life were 962, and he came to his end. And Enoch was 65 years old when he became the father of Methuselah. And after the birth of Methuselah, Enoch went on in God's way for 300 years, and had sons and daughters. And all the years of Enoch's life were 365, and Enoch went on in God's ways, and he was not seen again, for God took him. And Methuselah was 187 years old when he became the father of Lamech. And after the birth of Lamech, Methuselah went on living for 782 years, and had sons and daughters. And all the years of Methuselah's life were 969, and he came to his end. And Lamech was 182 years old when he had a son, and he gave him the name of Noah, saying, Truly he will give us rest from our trouble, and the hard work of our hands, because of the earth which was cursed by God. And after the birth of Noah, Lamech went on living for 595 years, and had sons and daughters. And all the years of Lamech's life were 777, and he came to his end. And when Noah was 500 years old, he became the father of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Chapter 6. And after a time, when men were increasing on the earth, and had daughters, the sons of God saw that the daughters of men were fair, and they took wives for themselves from those who were pleasing to them. And the Lord said, My spirit will not be in man forever, for he is only flesh. So the days of his life will be 120 years. There were men of great strength and size on the earth in those days. And after that, when the sons of God had connection with the daughters of men, they gave birth to children. These were the great men of old days, the men of great name. And the Lord saw that the sin of man was great on the earth, and that all the thoughts of his heart were evil. And the Lord had sorrow because he had made man on the earth, and grief was in his heart. And the Lord said, I will take away man whom I have made from the face of the earth, even man and beast, and that which goes on the earth, and every bird of the air, for I have sorrow for having made them. But Noah had grace in the eyes of God. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was an upright man, and without sin in his generation. He went in the ways of God. And Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And the earth was evil in God's eyes, and full of violent ways. And God, looking on the earth, saw that it was evil, for the way of all flesh had become evil on the earth. And God said to Noah, The end of all flesh has come. The earth is full of their violent doings, and now I will put an end to them with the earth. Make for yourself an ark of gopher wood with rooms in it, and make it safe from the water inside and out. And this is the way you are to make it. It is to be 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. You are to put a window in the ark, a cubit from the roof, and a door in the side of it. And you are to make it with a lower, and second, and third floors. For truly, I will send a great flow of waters over the earth for the destruction from under the heaven of all flesh, in which is the breath of life. Everything on the earth will come to an end. But with you I will make an agreement, and you will come into the ark, you and your sons, and your wife and your sons' wives with you. And you will take with you into the ark 2 of every sort of living thing, and keep them safe with you. They will be male and female. 2 of every sort of bird and cattle, and of every sort of living thing which goes on the earth will you take with you, to keep them from destruction. And make a store of every sort of food for yourself and them. And all these things Noah did. As God said, so he did. Chapter 7. And the Lord said to Noah, Take all your family and go into the ark, for you only in this generation have I seen to be upright. Of every clean beast you will take 7 males and 7 females, and of the beasts which are not clean 2, the male and his female, and of the birds of the air 7 males and 7 females, so that their seed may still be living on the face of the earth. For after 7 days I will send rain on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights, for the destruction of every living thing which I have made on the face of the earth. And Noah did everything which the Lord said he was to do. And Noah was 600 years old when the waters came flowing over all the earth. And Noah, with his sons and his wife and his sons' wives, went into the ark because of the flowing of the waters. Of clean beasts, and of beasts which are not clean, and of birds, and of everything which goes on the earth, in twos, male and female, they went into the ark with Noah, as God had said. And after the 7 days, the waters came over all the earth. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, on the 17th day of the month, all the fountains of the great deep came bursting through, and the windows of heaven were open. And rain came down on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights. On the same day, Noah, with Shem, Ham, and Japheth his sons, and his wife and his sons' wives, went into the ark, and with them every sort of beast and cattle, and every sort of thing which goes on the earth, and every sort of bird. They went with Noah into the ark, 2 and 2 of all flesh, in which is the breath of life. Male and female of all flesh went in, as God had said. And the ark was shut by the Lord. And for 40 days the waters were over all the earth, and the waters were increased, so that the ark was lifted up high over the earth. And the waters overcame everything, and were increased greatly on the earth, and the ark was resting on the face of the waters. And the waters overcame everything on the earth, and all the mountains under heaven were covered. The waters went 15 cubits higher, till all the mountains were covered. And destruction came on every living thing moving on the earth, birds and cattle and beasts, and everything which went on the earth, and every man. Everything on the dry land in which was the breath of life came to its end. Every living thing on the face of all the earth, man and cattle and things moving on the face of the earth, and birds of the air, came to destruction. Only Noah and those who were with him in the ark were kept from death. And the waters were over the earth 150 days. Chapter 8. And God kept Noah in mind, and all the living things and the cattle which were with him in the ark. And God sent a wind over the earth, and the waters went down, and the fountains of the deep and the windows of heaven were shut, and the rain from heaven was stopped. And the waters went slowly back from the earth, and at the end of 150 days the waters were lower. And on the 17th day of the 7th month the ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat. And still the waters went on falling, till on the 1st day of the 10th month the tops of the mountains were seen. Then, after 40 days, through the open window of the ark which he had made, Noah sent out a raven, which went this way and that, till the waters were gone from the earth. And he sent out a dove, to see if the waters had gone from the face of the earth. But the dove saw no resting place for her foot, and came back to the ark, for the waters were still over all the earth. And he put out his hand, and took her into the ark. And after waiting another 7 days, he sent the dove out again. And the dove came back at evening, and in her mouth was an olive leaf broken off. So Noah was certain that the waters had gone down on the earth. And after 7 days more, he sent the dove out again, but she did not come back to him. And in the 601st year, on the 1st day of the 1st month, the waters were dry on the earth. And Noah took the cover off the ark, and saw that the face of the earth was dry. And on the 27th day of the 2nd month, the earth was dry. And God said to Noah, Go out of the ark, you and your wife and your sons wives. Take out with you every living thing which is with you, birds and cattle, and everything which goes on the earth, so that they may have offspring, and be fertile, and be increased on the earth. And Noah went out with his sons and his wife and his sons' wives, and every beast and bird and every living thing of every sort which goes on the earth went out of the ark. And Noah made an altar to the Lord, and from every clean beast and bird he made burned offerings on the altar. And when the sweet smell came up to the Lord, he said in his heart, I will not again put a curse on the earth because of man, for the thoughts of man's heart are evil from his earliest days. Never again will I send destruction on all living things as I have done. While the earth goes on, seed time and the getting in of the grain, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night, will not come to an end. Chapter 9. And God gave his blessing to Noah and his sons, and said, Be fertile, and have increase, and make the earth full. And the fear of you will be strong in every beast of the earth, and every bird of the air. Everything which goes on the land, and all the fishes of the sea, are given into your hands. Every living and moving thing will be food for you. I give them all to you as before I gave you all green things. But flesh with the life-blood in it you may not take for food. And for your blood, which is your life, will I take payment. From every beast I will take it, and from every man will I take payment for the blood of his brother man. Whoever takes a man's life, by man will his life be taken, because God made man in his image. And now be fertile and have increase, have offspring on the earth, and become great in number. And God said to Noah and to his sons, Truly I will make my agreement with you and with your seed after you, and with every living thing with you, all birds and cattle and every beast of the earth which comes out of the ark with you. And I will make my agreement with you. Never again will all flesh be cut off by the waters. Never again will the waters come over all the earth for its destruction. And God said, This is the sign of the agreement which I make between me and you and every living thing with you for all future generations. I will put my bow in the cloud, and it will be for a sign of the agreement between me and the earth. And whenever I make a cloud come over the earth, the bow will be seen in the cloud. And I will keep in mind the agreement between me and you and every living thing. And never again will there be a great flow of waters, causing destruction to all flesh. And the bow will be in the cloud, and looking on it, I will keep in mind the eternal agreement between God and every living thing on the earth. And God said to Noah, This is the sign of the agreement which I have made between me and all flesh on the earth. And the sons of Noah who went out of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And Ham is the father of Canaan. These three were the sons of Noah, and from them all the earth was peopled. In those days Noah became a farmer, and he made a vine garden. And he took of the wine of it, and was overcome by drink, and he was uncovered in his tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw his father unclothed, and gave news of it to his two brothers outside. And Shem and Japheth took a robe, and, putting it on their backs, went in with their faces turned away, and put it over their father, so that they might not see him unclothed. And awaking from his wine, Noah saw what his youngest son had done to him. And he said, Cursed be Canaan, let him be a servant of servants to his brothers. And he said, Praise to the Lord, the God of Shem. Let Canaan be his servant. May God make Japheth great, and let his living place be in the tents of Shem, and let Canaan be his servant. And Noah went on living 350 years after the great flow of waters. All the years of his life were 950, and he came to his end. Chapter 10. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. These are the sons which they had after the great flow of waters. The sons of Japheth: Gomer, and Magog, and Madai, and Javan, and Tubal, and Meshech, and Tiras. And the sons of Gomer: Ashkenaz, and Riphath, and Togarmah. And the sons of Javan: Elisha, and Tarshish, the Kittim, and the Dodanim. From these came the nations of the sea lands, with their different families and languages. And the sons of Ham: Cush, and Mizraim, and Put, and Canaan. And the sons of Cush: Seba, and Havilah, and Sabta, and Raamah, and Sabteka. And the sons of Raamah: Sheba, and Dedan. And Cush was the father of Nimrod, who was the first of the great men of the earth. He was a very great bowman, so that there is a saying, like Nimrod, a very great bowman. And at the first his kingdom was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh, in the land of Shinar. From that land he went out into Assyria, building Nineveh with its wide streets, and Calah, and Rezin between Nineveh and Calah, which is a very great town. And Mizraim was the father of the Ludim, and Anamim, and Lehabim, and Naphtuhim, and Pathrusim, and Casluhim, and Caphturim, from whom came the Philistines. And Canaan was the father of Zidon, who was his oldest son, and Heth, and the Jebusite, and the Amorite, and the Girgashite, and the Hivite, and the Archite, and the Sinite, and the Arvadite, and the Zemarite, and the Hamathite. After that the families of the Canaanites went far and wide in all directions, their country stretching from Zidon to Gaza in the direction of Gerar, and to Lasha in the direction of Sodom and Gomorrah, and Admah, and Zeboim. All these, with their different families, languages, lands, and nations, are the offspring of Ham. And Shem, the older brother of Japheth, the father of the children of Eber, had other sons in addition. These are the sons of Shem: Elam, and Ashur, and Arpachshad, and Lud, and Aram. And the sons of Aram: Uz, and Hul, and Gether, and Mash. And Arpachshad became the father of Shelah, and Shelah became the father of Eber. And Eber had 2 sons. The name of the one was Peleg, because in his time the peoples of the earth became separate, and his brother's name was Joktan. And Joktan was the father of Almodad, and Sheleth, and Hazar-maveth, and Jerah, and Hadoram, and Uzal, and Diklah, and Obal, and Abimael, and Sheba, and Ophir, and Havilah, and Jobab. All these were the sons of Joktan. And their country was from Mesha in the direction of Sephar, the mountain of the east. These, with their families and their languages and their lands and their nations, are the offspring of Shem. These are the families of the sons of Noah, in the order of their generations and their nations. From these came all the nations of the earth, after the great flow of waters. The end of chapters 1 through 10. Recording by Mark Penfold.